And I'm muted. Ah! Oh, isn't it always fun when you speak for like 5 minutes and forget to unmute yourself? Shall we start again? Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you can actually hear me now after that major mistake I was making before. I hope you're all doing okay today. I hope that you've got the weather that you want, that you have the day that you need in order to enjoy. Today, we are going to be modding my keyboard, or rather, we're going to finish modding my keyboard. I started it last week, and basically, I've been wanting a nicer sounding keyboard for a while now, but that takes budget, and it's budget that I don't have. So instead, what I wanted to do, I have this Sharkoon PureWriter RGB. It's not a bad keyboard, it's perfectly nice to type on, but it is a little bit tinny. So I wanted to change that and see what I could make of it. It's about 6 years old now. I've been using it for a while, and sometimes the connection's a little bit finicky, but other than that, it's fine. So last week, I started to just see what I could do to improve it. I don't have any experience in modding keyboards, so this is all trial and error. But what I did have was a load of this stuff, which is draft strip, which goes onto doors, keep the draft out. It's sticky. It's kind of semi-dense foam, and it really absorbs the sound quite nicely. But I ran out. So the other thing that's in there is bubble wrap, 'cause it's the only thing I got that could take up the space. So we're going to be replacing that bubble wrap with this today, and then we're going to see what we can do to the keys. Now, that's going to be a bit more difficult, so I'm going to have to see what I can do there. I've got two options. One is to put some of this in and just to try and take some of the tinniness of the keys away a little bit. The other one that I've got here is this hot glue gun. Now the question is this a good idea? And I don't know. They're plastic keycaps. This is a hot glue gun. Heat, plastic, maybe that's not going to go together. So first up, let's hear what the keys sound like now. Then we'll start dismantling it, see what it takes to get into the inside, and go from there. We'll see how far we got. I've got like an hour that I can spend doing this today. Let's see how far we get. Okay, this keyboard, by the way, that you can see on top, that is just the one that I've got to use since as I'm changing my good keyboard. It cost about 10 euros. It is truly awful. I only got it to use for an old server just, for the few times when I actually needed to type anything. It is truly terrible. It's don't buy cheap keyboards. They're awful. So what we can do is put that out of the way. I'm hoping I don't need the keyboard today. And I just want to get rid of my work mat a second. And then let's see whether or not you can actually hear these keys. Smooth the microphone down. I don't know if that comes across on the microphone. I hope so. The middle ones don't sound too bad. They are clicky keys. They're not linears or silent or anything else. But when you go up to the top, it suddenly becomes a lot emptier. And the spacebar is just not good at all. So let's dismantle it, see what we can do to get in. Now, this isn't the most expensive keyboard in the world. So it's not hot swappable or anything else. There's not that much that I can do with it. Let's get inside and see what we can change. Now, this keyboard comes apart. I really should get myself a keycap puller by an amount of these screws here. And I've just got to remember where they're all located so I can pull off the right keycaps. So these ones, there's some between F6 and F7. And then F10 and F11. Scroll lock and print screen. Then we have the delete key. And the enter key. The enter key is really nasty because that's got a stabilizer underneath it. And these stabilizers aren't like any I've seen on videos. I guess that's just because it is kind of a cheap keyboard. So rather than having stabilizers at the end that the keys go into, we just have these bars that come across. And I don't know if you can see that in there if the light's too bright. But you just have little clips that they go into. They're a nightmare to get in and out, but they do kind of do the job. So I guess I can't complain too much. But it is definitely a limitation that we're going to have. So we have another screw there. Then we have Alt and Function. Then we're going to take off the space bar. This one's always nasty. And then I believe there's one in Control and the Windows key. So let's get all of these screws out. This is a bit where I really should have brought my magnetic parts tray back in, but never mind. I can still use a magnetic bit on the side at least. I really need to get music, don't I, that I can play whilst I'm doing this. It's a shame you can't speed up real life. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Now, if I've done it correctly, there's just 3 more to go, and then we can get inside. I find it quite amazing that this keyboard was about 80 euros, and it's not necessarily an expensive keyboard. And these days you can buy hot swappables for like 30. Times move on. Now, is this going to come off? This isn't going to come off, so obviously I've missed a couple of keycaps. We have one over here. This one, I took the keys off, but I forgot to take the screw out. Never mind. No, there's still one more. Where is the last one? Oh no, there we are. So, there's a keyboard. As you can see, like I say, it's not hot swappable. Everything is just mounted onto this plate. There's very little I can do on this side, which is a shame because I would like to try and improve that somewhat. The one thing that it has got is, I don't know how well you can hear that, but it does actually sound quite nice when it's on something solid. So I'm hoping if I can get this filled up a little bit better with foam, then we can really do some improvement. So let's take out all of this bubble wrap, which, you know what, it did something. It might not have been great, but it did actually provide something to the sound. And then let's start adding more of our foam. I'm sure, like, really what I should do is get some proper foam, like a sheet of foam, and stick that on, but never mind, this is gonna have to do. This is completely broken now, so that's good. That gives us our first strip at least. So all we're going to do is just literally fill up all of these gaps with more of this foam. So we're just going to see where we can fit everything and just try and make sure that we've got no air pockets left in here whatsoever. So this one can go all the way across like that. It does at least really easily to get it in. So let's go from across there. And we can finish off this side. You know what? This bit that I just put on, I'm going to get rid of. Maybe this side as well. It's got the glue on it that stopped it from unrolling, and that's fine, but I don't particularly want that on the PCB. So we're going to get rid of that, and we'll put some clean stuff down. I'm really curious whether or not this is actually going to make any difference, or whether or not what I did before is just as good as it's going to get. Okay, this one we can run a whole strip across again, just from one side of the keyboard to the other. My partner thinks I'm losing it doing this. She can't believe that I've spent the last week, well, weeks, just watching people build and mod keyboards. You know what? It's been fun. It's quite relaxing to watch somebody do. And if I can get this keyboard sounding awesome without spending a huge amount of money, then I guess you could also say it's a good use of my time. That one we'll keep for somewhere else, shall we? Wow, this sticky stuff is really, sticky. Okay, I can see why I ran out before. I barely got started and I'm already really far down on this. If it does work, then the total cost for this mod would be about €5. And I think for €5, you really can't complain. If you can get your keyboard sounding way thonkier. And it's actually quiet as well. It's not only a more pleasant sound, it's less sound, which means that when I'm in a meeting, people can't hear me typing quite so much. So they can actually hear me. And when I'm doing coding on stream, hopefully on Wednesday, hopefully that's also going to be slightly less clacky. And I can enjoy the typing experience that this keyboard gives without it being, quite so off-putting with the noise that it makes. So let's see now. Can we put this one down here? I'm really trying to fill up every little gap that I can find, because every little gap is a place where it can echo. So we'll put some in here. Put 2 layers there, because that's actually quite a deep section. What I want to do is try and make sure that this is all kind of level. And then this section down here, you can see I put this in the middle. Just because I was desperately running out of this rubber stuff. Now I can actually put 2 full strips down and hopefully get the spacebar sounding a little bit like it's supposed to. Well, I don't know about like it's supposed to, but like I want it to sound, I guess is a better way of putting it. Oh, this is evil. If I ever have to rip this out, it's going to be so horrible. And the other thing that I'm going to do, I'm considering putting, if I've got enough left over, putting some of this actually into the spacebar, because I think the spacebar is about the worst sounding key on there. And if that works, if that makes it sound nicer, then the rest, I don't know. Might leave it, might not. I'm kind of a little bit scared. Like I said, I can't really afford a new keyboard right now. And if I do the hot glue gun and I ruin the keyboard, I'm going to be in trouble. And I can maybe do without being in trouble. Can do without throwing keys on the floor too. So we're almost there. Let's bring that one across. One nice long section for underneath. Now it's not necessarily that heavy. It's not adding that much weight to it. It's just making it less of a reverberation chamber with the air that's inside it. Okay, where do we want to do now? That one's really not enjoying sticking there, is it? Where are we low? See, what I want to do now is figure out just where I'm low and where I need to put a second layer on. See, this feels a little bit low. This feels a little bit low. I want to fill these bits up. I want to get rid of that one. That one just feels nasty. We'll just do a fresh bit there. Couple more bits in here. I want one here to fill up that hole. Ow. I want one here to fill that hole. And I think that's probably going to have to do it. Let's get the key that we threw on the floor. Let's see if this now fits, because of course that's the other fear. If I do all this, is this still going to fit on top? Yeah. You know what? It's a bit of a tight fit, but I think, yes. So we'll get it all screwed together and see what that's done. As I say in car manuals, reassembly is the reverse of disassembly. Now it is really tight now. It's possibly not quite enough space in there. And I'm sure that anybody who is well versed in the keyboard modding scene is probably swearing at me right now for doing such a bodged job of this. There's anybody, by the way, that knows about Kali keycaps? I'm wondering, is this supposed to be a stabilizer? I've got these two holes just here. And if I get just a set of keycaps that are better quality than the ones I have, are they going to fit into place nicely as opposed to these bars that I have currently? Or is this really just not moddable? Forget about whether or not it's worth to mod. That's a different question. Just, is it going to be possible to mod it and make it sound cool? Challenge and budget. Those two things go quite well together. Okay, just two more. Then I'm going to have to take one earpiece off because these are noise cancelling headphones and I can't actually hear what this sounds like. Last screw. Oh, that sounds... Okay, I can hear that. That sounds so much better. That sounds cool. That is so nicely thonky. I don't know how well the microphone's picking it up. But that, at least in person, sounds way better than it did before. So let's see what we can do to this keycap. Now, it is shine through. In theory, there's north-facing LEDs on these, but I never use them because when you use the LEDs, you get such bad feedback through the sound system. But I don't really want to like remove that if I can help it. So I can kind of see if I just put it across the bottom edge on both sides of this. So if I just rip that off, is the spacebar then going to sound better? This is pure lemon test experimentation. I have no idea if this is good or bad, but we'll find out, I guess. Okay, that's nicely missing that. Okay, let's see how this sounds. Put it back on, shall we? That one clips into there, that one clips into... Oh, that's fun. I've pulled the stabilizer out of the board. I pulled both stabilizers out of the board. That was really not the idea here, was it? Excuse the back of my head. Is this a bit where I have to scream and tell my partner I need a new keyboard? And then she tells me off. Okay, they're back in. Now this bar under here should, in theory, clip into here. Oh no, it clips into these two, doesn't it? On some keys it clicks into the key itself, and on some it goes elsewhere. Let's try that again. That didn't work. Okay, I guess that's not an option then. Oh, I see. Let's try making this a little bit shorter. Okay, that at least fits into the... socket better. Now, does this... Okay, third time lucky. Okay, I think I'm getting too close to the pegs on both sides. So let's take a bit more out. We'll just keep it across the middle. The fact that I'm having to take so much out means that I don't think this is going to work. The fact that these keep on popping out means that I think I'm going to have to stop at some point before they really break. I've just had a really bad thought. The reason why they might be popping out is because I might have put too much stuff underneath. Why are you... It's not sticking in on one side. I don't think this is as much a problem with the key as it is with the fact that there's too much pressure under here, pushing these stabilizers out. May have to have a play with that and see what we're going to do. The one thing that it has made me scared of, though, is actually putting more stuff on here. The hot glue mod that I wanted to do, so with this thing, I was hoping that if I just put some in the bottom, that it would make it a little bit less rattly. But I'm actually starting to think that maybe that's not such a good idea. Because all of these have the same metal on the side. And I have a horrible idea that if I start to fill this up, can we turn the light off? I have a horrible idea that if I try and put just a layer of hot glue in there, it's going to take away too much of the depth and it's not going to connect to the switch as it should do. I may just have to see whether or not I can buy new switches and whether or not that's just an option. Damn it. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, let's get it put back together and test it and see whether or not it still works at least. And then we'll see where we go. Well, at least the standard keys are fairly easy to get back in. That spacebar's really annoyed me. I'm going to have to spend some time figuring that one out. Because I really would like to make that one better. The space key is the worst on the keyboard. It's super rattly. volume up, volume down. Email button. We'll do delete in a second. Damn it, which way did that go? I think it was Alt and then function. Then we can get these two done. Left, down. Let's get our enter key set up. That's another one of these horrible ones, which is also coming out of the board. Right. I am fairly certain that I've put too much padding underneath and I'm going to have to strip some out. Although the enter key feels fine once it's in. This one's just not popping back up. Let's have one more go on the space key before we plug it in. See if we can figure. Oh! Is that what's happening? Can we pull this down a bit? Let's try and... Let's try and put that back in there a little bit. I wonder if that was the problem. Nope, that's even worse. Oakley dokley. Let's remove these. Let's try and get them totally clear of that. And try that now. No, that makes no difference. Okay. Let's plug in the keyboard and see what it's like at least. Does it still work? This, by the way, is so annoying on this keyboard. It's a micro USB. Fine. When I brought it, that was normal. But if I try and use a cable which isn't Sharkoon, it doesn't work. Now, I don't know what there is on there that has to be explicitly Sharkoon. The cable that came with it worked. I tried replacing it with a different cable when that one broke. No dice. I couldn't use the keyboard for a while. I went online and managed to find a Sharkoon cable, which didn't fit because they changed the shape of the cables and the keyboard was in the way. So as you can see, I had to like gouge out an amount of the keyboard to get it to fit. Now it does at least fit. Well, it still lights up. This is like something at least. Okay, then can we get something on the screen? I'm not going to do monkey type because my typing is terrible, especially when people are watching. Let's, I'm just trying to change my display resolution here so I can show you what I'm doing. So let's do that. Let's go down to, is that the one that I want? It's not the one that I want. Is that the one that I want? Nope. Screen and camera. Okay, I'm showing you the wrong screen. Thankfully, there's nothing on there that shouldn't be. Which is weird, because it didn't used to be that. Okay, let's do this a different way. Let's come into StreamYard and we'll just share the screen directly. Share my screen, share that one, share. And, okay, so now you can see my screen. Let's go to Let's try monkey type. It's not going to be good because, you know, presenting and typing at the same time just doesn't work. I've got to take one ear off because I really want to hear this in person. I don't know how much is coming across. Fingers crossed it's enough. Oops. Okay, forget the awful typing speed. That does sound better, I think, than it did before we started. So, especially the top rows. No, I don't want that. I was just pressing random keys. Let's go back to the camera, shall we? And stop sharing my screen. So I'm actually, aside from the fact that everything is just a complete mess now, I'm really happy with where this has gone, at least. We managed to get it back together, which I must admit, at one point, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to. It sounds better at the back. I still need to figure out what I'm going to do with the keys. I don't particularly feel like pouring hot glue into them just yet. So I'm going to start a little bit earlier than I planned. I was hoping for 45 minutes to an hour, but I'm guessing 40 minutes is going to be it. Because I'm kind of out of ideas. I don't know where to go from here. Like I say, if anybody has any idea about what keycaps I could throw on here, let me know. Even if it's just the alphanumerics. If I could replace these so they sound nice, I can live with the rest. These are the ones that I use all of the time. And yeah, on that note, I hope that, well, you've just seen that some things are possible at least. And I wish you all a pleasant afternoon. Goodbye for now.